of people have reservations about EVs. Prices do tend to be higher, and range anxiety, yeah, that's real. But BYD seems to have an answer to these concerns. This is the Dolphin. It has a friendly price, and its range is actually quite impressive. On this episode of Behind the Wheel, find out if this seafaring mammal has the smarts to change your opinions on EVs. Now, I did say the Dolphin comes in at a friendly price, and if you check the AutoDeal app available on iOS and Android, it will tell you that the Dolphin comes in at 1,398,000 Philippine pesos. Now, for context, the MG4 Standard comes in at 1,468,000 Philippine pesos, and the GWM Aura 03400 is 1,358,000 Philippine pesos. So it's fairly priced among these entry-level EV hatchbacks. Prices of EVs have reduced greatly. 3 years ago, the Dolphin itself was 200,000 Philippine pesos more expensive. This is thanks to the EV law. Plus, registration fees are much more cheaper now. So the savings don't just stop at the dealer level. Go to AutoDeal.com.ph or download our app available on iOS and Android to connect you to hundreds of dealers nationwide and to get you the specs, prices, and anything and everything that you need to know on the Dolphin or any car for that matter to help you find the best car at the best price. People tend to be very concerned when it comes to range in an EV, and yes, that's completely understandable. The Dolphin claims that it can do 405 kilometers thanks to a 44.5 kilowatt-hour blade battery. And in our testing, we figured that, yeah, it can actually get pretty close to that. Depends also, obviously, on how it is that you're going to drive it. As we've mentioned before, proper planning and a routine when owning an EV inside Metro Manila would be absolutely great. If you have access to a wall box at home, then yeah. If not, even just a plug where you can put in the mobile charger that comes with the car. And if you don't have any access to that, then finding a place like a mall with wall chargers will really help too. For instance, I go to a particular mall where my gym is, and that has a wall charger there. Even if it's a 7 kilowatt charger, I just go in there and I can top up 15-20% in about an hour and a half. Oh, in terms of charging, the car itself is actually pretty fast because with a wall box that's 7 watts, you can charge this car from flat to 100 in just 7 hours. And then if you're in a rush, like if you go to a larger gasoline station like the ones on S-Lexon or EDSA, you can do from 30 to 70% in just 20 minutes. Now, as for power, I don't even know why we're opening this. You're not really gonna see much. It's a very tiny hood and barely any space. Anyway, you are looking at a motor that can produce 94 horses and 180 Newton meters of torque. Now, it's not a performance trim Tesla, but this car still most definitely has a lot of pep and zip to it. We'll get to that a little bit later when we go out for a drive. The Dolphin certainly has a unique look. Some might find it cute, others a bit goofy. Regardless, it does have some charm. Up front, you have LEDs all around, and DRLs stretch the width of the car. The nose is very, very sleek and tapered to really cut through the air for better efficiency. Down the side, you have 16-inch two-tone alloys, making the ground clearance at 120 millimeters. Over at the rear, you have really sleek lights that crisscross each other. I'm not the biggest fan of the Build Your Dreams emblem here, though. Open her up, and you are looking at 345 very usable liters of space because the tonneau can easily come off. It's a bit deeper than gas-powered vehicles because there is no gas tank, so to speak. There is a couple of drawbacks, though. There's no spare tire, so there's a kit that you have to fix any flats and whatnot. Second is the backrest of the second row. It does fold, so you can load like another 2 balikbayan boxes in there, but it's one or the other. You can't load something long and have a third passenger in there as well. So it lacks a little bit on versatility there. But I need to show you this because I actually just saw it. This is, if you can figure it out, it's a plug that connects to the port of the car. Ta-da! And then it has sockets. right? Because the Dolphin is also a vehicle to load, which means that if you're out camping, say like this, you can treat this as the largest battery charger that you have that can power your TVs, an electric fan, your laptops, a microwave. You know what? We should try bringing a microwave
Maybe a
one time.
microwave is too much.
You think? Oh, wee wee wee. The second row doesn't offer you much when it comes to toys and amenities. In fact, you've got bottle holders on either door, a bottle holder here in the center, a Type A charging point, and that's about it. Space is actually pretty good though if you're just two passengers back here. My leg room is actually quite decent. That's my normal driving position. My headroom is pretty good too. Then again, I'm not the tallest of passengers, right? The space is decent. If you wanted to fit a third passenger, might not be an issue because there is no center tunnel. It's flat. So this might be good for like very short trips inside the city. Other than that, keeping it to two passengers inside the car would be great. There's really not much else to tell you other than the fact that the color scheme in here matches the exterior of the car. The seats are kind of plush and comfortable. They offer my height some thigh support. If it were Jack, it might be a bit higher here, but at least he's got the room to, like, you know, open his legs and stretch out. And really that's about it. Oh, apart from the, you can put stuff here behind. That's always a nice thing, really. And then if you want to piss off the driver, if it's Earl, you can just be like, Hui! Hit him in the neck. He'll be like the squid, diba? When you karate chop it to change his color. You've seen that, right? Up front, the overall design is nice. The textures are nice too. There's a lot of them all over the vehicle, from the door panels to the dash all the way down here. It's actually quite a comfortable place to be in. It's got some nice features like the instrument cluster directly in front of you is mounted to the stalk so that anytime that you move the steering wheel, you always have a clear view of it, what I like. I don't like, however, that it's not telescopic. It can go only up and down. But I can find an easy enough driving position even if it's not telescopic, which is good. You have a very large infotainment screen that also doubles as your 360 camera. That's nice. It has wireless Apple CarPlay and wireless Android Auto, which is also cool. There are charging points found underneath, and then these are your drive modes and your drive selector. Quick on and off for your aircon. Unfortunately, you can't control it. I'll get to that in a bit. Then there's your key. I know you guys want to see the key. It's always nice. And a nice cubby hole here. While the seats are most definitely comfortable, these bolsterings don't feel like they intrude you too much. In fact, Jack's been driving this car a lot and he has no complaints about that. There are some drawbacks in the vehicle. Number one is that since there are no air vents in the back, you got to pump up the air pretty strong to make it reach the back. That's where it gets a little bit complicated. See, if you're on Android, or if you're in CarPlay or if you're on Android Auto, you have to exit that to get to the main menu of this thing to pump up the air, because there are no air controls here. You can turn it on and off, but that's it. We found a quick fix, which is increase fan speed.
Okay, I've increased the fan speed by 1.
So it increases it then. You have the voice function there. But really, just to be able to increase fan speed, you got to speak or get into the system. It's a little bit cumbersome, really. Next is, this large screen is great, but it does block the flow of air from the air vents if you're trying to cool off the back seats. There is a fix for that, which is this. Ta-da!
But you can't use CarPlay or Android Auto like that.
I was gonna get to that. You can't use CarPlay or Android Auto when it is in vertical mode. I have no idea why. So it's a trip, but I don't know why it's nice to see it, but I don't know. If you weren't going to rotate this thing, maybe you could have just given me 60-40 split seats. I mean, we could have called it even there. Then the other thing is that this being an electric vehicle, I would have expected wireless charging. But there's none. There's a nice cubby hole for my phone there, and there's a nice tray here that you can put stuff in, and there's even cubby holes found underneath. But there's no wireless charging inside this vehicle. But I know for a fact that BYD's even smaller hatchback than the Dolphin, which is slated to come out soon, does have a wireless charger, and that car's even more affordable pa than this. So I think might be a missed opportunity. But there's a lot of positives to this car, especially when we get out for a drive, which is exactly what we're gonna do right now. But before we do, I implore you to please subscribe to our channel because we create all these videos just for you guys. Oh, one last thing. I was talking about the cubby holes. There is one more down here, but it's like so difficult to get anything from under there because it gets caught. Aray, 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 aray. Sorry, Jack, this is your bottle. Did AJ give this to you?
Yes, and you threw it at me once and you almost broke it.
Sorry,
Broke
AJ.
it.
Sorry, AJ. The Dolphin has 94 horses and 180 Newton meters of torque. Now, that's not exactly knock your socks off figures, but try to remember that this is an EV, so power comes in an instant. There's no downshifting, there's no turbo spooling, it just goes. There really is no beating an EV when it comes to smoothness and consistency of power delivery. Even on steep hills like this, it just does so effortlessly, really. And you can have a bit of fun with it too by turning in and whatnot, because thanks to the low center of gravity, plus the fact that you can switch this guy to sport mode and it makes it very snappy, the response is it's just amazing. The car is actually quite agile too. It is by no means a performance vehicle or even an enthusiast car like the MX-5, but it does have the ability to put a smile on your face. It's charming. Out on the highway, the Dolphin is fantastic. The cabin is whisper quiet, obviously because there's no engine noise, but the road noise is mitigated very, very well, thanks mainly to the batteries that are found underneath. Now, the solid nature of the batteries is basically what's keeping the noise and vibrations away. It's quite pleasant in here for a car of this price pa and size. Now, the power out in the twisties is always going to be fun, yes, but a more practical use of that power will be here on the highway. And when you accelerate, it does pick itself up and move quite zippily, whether you're already at speed like this and you just nail it. Oh, see, it's smooth, but yet, we're past 100 already. Jack, you're supposed to warn me of these things.
Wow. Did you just say zippily?
Yes, zippily. Like zippily doo-dah, zippity day.
Oh, wow, okay.
Get with the times.
Get with it, time. It's like your time.
Around town is really where the Dolphin shines. Its compact size and the around view camera make it really, really easy to maneuver around the tighter streets inside the metro. And yes, traffic will always be a pain in the butt, but because of the calmness of the cabin and then the quick response to accelerate when you need to on the throttle, well, it eases your fatigue ever so slightly, or even by that much. While it can be at times, Jack and I agree with this, that driving an electric vehicle, specifically this one, can be a bit bland, the truth is that's actually what you're looking for when you hop into this vehicle. You want something uncomplicated, you want something smooth, you want something easy to get you from point A to point B. And that's a fact. And the Dolphin is perfectly good for that. Getting from point A to point B is something that the Dolphin does very well. And at 1.4 million Philippine pesos, it presents itself as a great value. If your lifestyle allows you to charge at home or outside, and you're keen on getting an EV, the Dolphin is a very good option. Now, if you're still skeptical about EVs, I implore you to try one yourself. Download the AutoDeal app. It'll connect you to the BYD dealer closest to you, and you can book one for a test drive. Because while it may not be an all-inspiring drive, the comfort and smoothness of an EV just can't be beat.